Hello everyone, my name is Grijanna Baker, but most people just call me G. I am studying criminal justice, which I may or may have not mentioned earlier in the semester, so I wanted my topic to somehow relate to criminal justice. I am going to talk about how juveniles are impacted by individuals close to them, such as a parent, that are incarcerated, and how this affects our society. Well, first off, what does the term incarcerate mean? Well, the meaning is someone who is serving a long-term sentence behind bars. They are offenders, people who break laws or rebel, in other words. The overall purpose of this is to rehabilitate these individuals and retribute, which is teach them what they did wrong. Give them that punishment. That is what incarcerated means. So, when people go through this, they are dealing with consequences that they have done prior to it. Well, how does this even affect our society? Well, what about our younger generations? The people that are younger than us, children. I mean, most of us are in college, so we're about 18, 20, a little bit older, maybe even more. But what about our younger generations? Did you know, which I found very interesting, that children with one parent incarcerated have low self-esteem, depression, weird sleep patterns, insomnia, stress, these sorts of issues going on because it's difficult to cope with that, especially when you are at a very young age. It's difficult to deal with those emotions. You don't know how to specifically do that. I have a quote in here from a study that I thought was very interesting. Quote, in a North American study, separation from a parent through imprisonment was found to be more detrimental to a child's well-being than divorce or death of a parent. Quote. I found this super interesting because you don't really think about that. You think of death of the parent, that's significant, divorce significant, but there's also children out there who are going through these situations as well, and it seems to be overlooked. This could also lead to antisocial behaviors. Children will be 6 times more likely to end up incarcerated themselves when in these situations. Also, in some cases, unfortunately, the child will be taken away and placed into foster care. This happens when the other parent is not capable of being a parent. So you have one incarcerated, and then you have one who's not capable of taking care of the children, and then you're placed into foster care, which is also very, very unfortunate. Now, I found this study to be super interesting. I mean, it kind of made sense to me as well, but I enjoyed reading on it. So the coping study was done on children in the United Kingdom, the UK, and United States, US, to see how children having a parent in prison has affected them. Well, what I determined from this is US children with incarcerated parents are more susceptible to learning disabilities, ADHD, ADD, speech issues, and medical issues such as obesity and asthma. United Kingdom children with incarcerated parents are more likely to need counseling or therapy. These children also often do not speak about their experiences and tend to be very silent. They don't know how to cope with these experiences, and they might have seen things that have been really harsh, witnessed them, and just don't talk very often as much as that. And I also wanted to mention that the coping study was done in United States and United Kingdom. They interviewed 200 children each with incarcerated parents using a questionnaire and compared them with normative population samples. Just so you guys know. I also wanted to discuss the foster care system a little bit in here as well. Now, children are placed here when the caregiver has been determined unfit or incarcerated or both. For children with parents with children with parents who are incarcerated have a difficult time in foster care. 27% of mothers who had been in prison have had a child placed in the foster care system at least once. Studies also showed that mothers who are in these situations have also been in foster care themselves. It's very unfortunate that this is going on in our world and in our families and in children and in youth, and it's not something that we want to really see. Now, I found an article that I thought was very, very interesting. It was by Angel Gilbert. She gives her personal experience on her mother was incarcerated when she was 12 years old. And she went into the foster care system multiple times, dealt with not good circumstances, and she said the foster care system made it worse, unfortunately. Now, after I read her article, I want to look at what is the upside here. Well, nearly 6 million children are unfortunately affected by their parent being incarcerated, but not all of them follow that path. Some of them want to make a difference, and an example that I have is Angel Gilbert. She was told and had that stereotype that she is not going to graduate college. She's not going to be successful. Well, she did that. She did graduate college and she did become successful, and she wanted to be different. She didn't want to be a part of that norm. Now, another thing is awareness has been increased in the education system to better assist these children, which I believe is very substantial. We have help for children with dyslexia, which is what I have, ADD, but for this specific circumstance, it needs to be a little more broken down, if that makes sense. Counseling is offered in schools. A guidance counselor is always someone that you can go to who is outside of family, an outside person. I also found a program called POPS, which helps deliver serviced children with incarcerated parents. The program started in LA and continues to spread through the area. And this is really just to help with self-expression and healing for these individuals. And I think it's very, very, very important that we continue to push forward for this and continue to look at the science behind it. It makes sense. It shows what is going on in our society. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed my project, and good luck to you all. I have my resources right here, and thank you, everybody.